everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer getting set for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. The Classic is not the last race on the Breeders' Cup two-day program. You still got some sprint action, the Turf Sprint, and of course the sprint featuring Elite Power. Before we analyze this 5-furlong dash on the turf card, it is race number 10 on Saturday. Remember to pick up your DRF Players packages. 3 tiers available at shop.drf.com. All sorts of goodies, picks, PPs, clock reports, betting strategies, and more at low prices. Here's the field for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. We got some scratches to announce. The number 2, Brad Sell. He is out. The first also eligible in this race, One Timer, is out. That leaves Beer Can Man, the 14, in, but we're going to start things off with analyzing the pace situation, Mike, and there are some very fast horses in this race.
Listen, they're going 5 furlongs on the turf, and they're going for $1 million purse. They better show up with some speed if they want to win it. We'll see how competitive it gets up front, and I suppose that could help the closers, but you got to get yourself involved relatively early here, Dan. You don't have a ton of time to make up ground.
Living the Dream, the number 5, showed tremendous speed in his one start in North America. I can tell you that the 11, Jasper Crone from Japan, is very fast as well. Big Invasion likes to rally from out of it, as he did in the New Arctic this race last time out, going 3/4 of a mile over a yielding turf course. He is very honest. He's hit the board in 12 of 14 with 8 wins. He usually shows up with a good effort. He needs a little pace. Yeah. He'll get it. He needs a little bit of a trip. This distance is no problem.
It's not. He's a horse who is good go up to 6 furlongs, Dan, but he's also been very good at 5 when they've tried it with him in the past. I don't think you have to worry about that so much. The other point that you made there is one you have to really worry about. He needs a trip in this race because he's gotten unlucky several times, most notably earlier this year in that turf sprint at Churchill. He got terribly unlucky that day.
Brad Sell is out. We move to the 3, Caravel, the defending champion in this race, and a very popular mare that's won 15 of 25, coming off of a runner-up effort as the favorite at Keeneland. I thought the trip was there for her that day, but it was nice to see her run very well. I think the turf course being soft at Saratoga worked against her. She's another one. She shows up every time.
Yeah, I would give her a pass for the Saratoga race. That was a very, very soft turf course, and maybe she didn't like it. She also didn't get firm ground last time, Dan. It wasn't her best performance. It wasn't even close to her best performance, but maybe at this stage of her career, she just wants firm turf. She'll get firm turf Saturday.
She's won her last 5 starts on firm turf, and she is tactical enough that wouldn't you be surprised at all if she sits the pocket behind the pace with a big shot turning for home? Tony Ann is the number 4. She took the measure of Caravel in this race. The Franklin over good turf last time out. Tony Ann is a very likable mare. She's 5. She's only run 10 times, but it looks like Phil D'Amato's got her the healthiest she's ever been. 3 starts this year off the layoff and just keeps getting better.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She's bringing the best form of her life into this race on Saturday. A big win over Caravel last time. Beat her fair and square that day, but that was a little bit of giving the ground in. It'll be firmer here. I just like the fact that she could get the right trip in this race.
Living the Dream is not your usual European because he is all gas. He wired him in Nunthorpe 2 starts back at a huge price, and he went very fast on the lead. Last time out in the Woodford, he got tired late. I think he's got to go fast again early here.
Yeah, he does, but he's cutting back to 5 in this race. That could help him. And again, speed is very dangerous in these races, Dan. Maybe he gets hooked up there and it costs him, but if he makes the early lead in here and he can get at least a little breather, he's going to be tough to catch.
Here's the 6-gear jockey scoring last time out at Kentucky Downs. A, he loves Kentucky Downs. B, this is a 6 furlong race. Cutting back to 5 might just be too sharp for him, even if he gets the right setup.
He just seems like one of those horses, Dan, who's really affected by this race not being down the hill at 6.5. 5 feels like it's not his best distance.
You're right. 6.5 would have been perfect for him. The 7 is No Balls, the popular gelding who scored last time out at Colonial in the DeHaas Stakes. You liked this race because everyone thought he was going to be on the lead. He was on a hard chase, and he was able to kick him down. I thought he had to work real hard against inferior competition.
He did. It wasn't his best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but they tried something a little different with him there. I don't think he looked super sharp, but he got the job done. He's a fast horse. His best race, another one, his best race gives him a real chance in here, and he'll be forward.
Aesop's Fables is a 3-year-old taking elders, and he's jumping up in class. He ran 3rd in the La Bay last time out, going 5/8. That's a quality Group 1. He was also 43-1. It is worth noting the horse that finished 17th in that race came back to upset Kinross in the British Champions.
That is true. We'll see if this horse can somehow take a step forward. I thought he was a tough call in this race. He ran fine at this distance last time. I'm not sure it's his best distance, though.
I think the 9 Roses for Deborah is one of the more talented horses in this race. She was a revelation for Clement Clement. She won 4 in a row, her first 4 races for Christophe. Then they ran her in the Turf Monster, a race over the most boggy turf course imaginable. So boggy that they canceled the remainder of turf racing afterwards. I was surprised Clement ran her in that race. This third place effort is game.
Yeah, I wonder if it ultimately works against her. There's just they ran her on there, and she had to work so hard over a course like that. If it takes anything out of her, I'm gonna assume that since she's here, it's no issue for her. Her good race is really good. That I'm using this horse.
Home court advantage for the 10, Motorius. Good at 5, good at 6.5, real good at 5 in this race. The Green Flash handicap, a race where he sat outside, he swung widest, he ran by them all.
He ran really well in here. He gets a little bit of a home court advantage. The 5 furlong distance, no issue for him. He didn't run as well as No Ball's 2 starts back, but he ran well on his own right.
Jasper Crone, the 11, is wicked fast. He showed that in the Sprinter Stakes against the best turf sprinters in Japan last time out. He made the lead. He held on till very late, going 3/4. Maybe cutting back to 5 helps.
Listen, I like speed in these races, Dan. You tell me this horse has speed. That's good enough for me. I'll throw him in there.
Arzak is a horse with back class, and it appears that Michael Trombetta has finally figured him out as a turf sprinter. He took the Woodford last time out, a race where he got a good setup and a good in-out closer's trip. But I want to tell you something. He fired that final 16.
Yeah, and he's going to have a good setup with another fast pace in front of him here, Dan, and it's only going to help this horse. He was 1 for 12 on turf before those last 2 starts, and he's all of a sudden gotten really good.
One-timer scratch, which means our friends at Little Red Feather get in with the 14 beer can man, and they're going to be partying into the dawn if this horse can pull off a little bit of an upset. He is rock solid. He runs hard all the time, but beaten by Motorius 2 back, beaten by Arzak last time out. Take him back, make one run.
He's capable of beating this field, Dan. He doesn't have to be too far away, and 5 furlongs is his best distance.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Mike?
I'm going to take No Balls on top. I know that there's other speed in this race, Dan. I like that he was able to sit a little bit last time. I like this horse.
I'm going to go with Motorius in here, a horse that is in very good form, likes this surface. I think Arzak's going to run very, very well. I think he's going to be a good price. He's in career form. And, of course, Jasper Crone from Japan, I think, might be the speed that holds on to the end. But it's a fun race. You're going with No Balls. I'll go with Motorius in the turf sprint.